One day in Sumeru, a great tragedy happened. A scream can be heard inside Alhaitham's house. Someone had eaten Kaveh's potato chips. He questioned Cyno, Tighnari, and Alhaitham on who had eaten his chips, but they all had no idea, as an argument ensues. Tighnari thinks they should discuss this in a calm and orderly manner, but Cyno thinks otherwise. He thinks this is an issue of trust, and they need to resolve it in the best way possible, before their friendship gets broken apart. They should take this to court, and so they did. Alhaitham thinks this is absolutely absurd, but he reiterates again that this is a serious problem. Kaveh then recounts what happened before the great tragedy. The Sumeru boys, consisting of Alhaitham, Cyno, Kaveh, and Tighnari, were hanging out inside Alhaitham's house when Kaveh had to leave, needing to help Kaveh with something. Before going out, he instructs them not to eat his potato chips, as he is saving them for later. When he got back home, lo and behold, his chips had been eaten, with only the wrapping paper left. They seem to have no idea who ate the chips, so until proven, he assumes all three of them worked together and ate it. Alhaitham says that's a weird conclusion, they would never do that. Kaveh then enters the courtroom, claiming she was the one who stole it, but no one believed her. They knew she just made that up to resolve the conflict, and Kaveh kindly asked her to leave. He then questioned everyone what they were doing while he was gone, to prove their innocence. Cyno says he was on the left of the house, organizing his cards. Alhaitham says he was on the couch, while looking through research papers. Tighnari says he was on the right of the house, writing a letter for his mentor. Kaveh then accuses Tighnari of stealing it, as he is the one closest to the crime scene. There was no way he wouldn't have noticed someone taking the chips, especially with his sensitive ears, so he must have been the one who took it. Tighnari then agrees that yes, he would have normally heard the sound if it weren't for Cyno. He had to wear a soundproof earpiece the entire time, as Cyno would not stop saying bad jokes. He told 3 jokes every minute, with a total of 15 jokes, and that was frankly way too much for Tighnari's ears, hence the earpiece. Also yes, he kept track of how many jokes he said. Cyno then gets sad, as Alhaitham was also wearing a soundproof earpiece, meaning no one heard his jokes at all. It was a shame, he thought the ones he came up with were comedy gold. I guess he just has to say them all again. Kaveh says it's enough of that, before their discussion extends an entire hour. Tighnari then suggests that Cyno was the reason the two of them weren't able to hear clearly, albeit not on purpose. Maybe that was his ploy, so he could be the one to steal the chip bag. Cyno defends himself, saying he would rather get crushed by a meteor than betray his friend. Kaveh agrees, as he thinks Cyno is the least likely person to steal something from him, but counting it as a betrayal is a bit too much. He then asks everyone if they don't know who was the culprit. Did they notice anything suspicious at least? Alhaitham claims nothing happened on his side, same for Tighnari. But Cyno says he did notice something while cleaning his casket. Outside the window, he can faintly hear someone eating a food that is very crunchy. Perhaps it was Kaveh's chips. He didn't think too much of it at the time, so he didn't investigate more. Cyno then reiterates that if they didn't wear a noise-canceling earpiece, this case would be over by now. Tighnari replies, if it weren't for his jokes in the first place, he would have never worn them. Kaveh has no idea what to do next, thinking they lack any more clues, so he just blames the person who he thinks is the most likely to do it. Kaveh blames Alhaitham for stealing his chips. He did it despite him knowing full well he would get annoyed, after specifically stating not to eat them. Actually, during this entire debate, he fully believed Alhaitham did it, and is just waiting for him to confess, but he never did. Alhaitham asks for any evidence, but Kaveh says he doesn't need one, he just knows this is something he would do. He replies that it doesn't work that way at all, he needs proof, as Kaveh proceeds to blame them even more. Tighnari and Cyno manage to calm him down before the argument gets too heated. Kaveh then says that if Alhaitham claims to such be a genius and knows every single thing, why doesn't he tell him who the culprit is? He was just quiet this entire time. Alhaitham accepts his challenge, them now switching positions, and Alhaitham being the new judge. He says that logically speaking, they have everything they need to figure out who the culprit is, but they might not like his method. They have to deduce who's most likely to steal the chip bag, but not from an emotional level. He asks Kaveh whether the chips were flavored or not, and he says no. Alhaitham is glad about his answer, now being more confident. During their last meet-up together, they also had a debate about chips, although much less intense. Alhaitham got annoyed by Kaveh eating the chips so loudly, distracting him from reading. Kaveh defends himself, saying the satisfying crunch is part of the chip eating experience. Tighnari takes Alhaitham's side, and Cyno takes Kaveh's side. After that, Cyno thinks Tighnari shouldn't take multiple chips at once. He believes in a strict, one chip at a time etiquette, while Tighnari believes in a more relaxed approach, taking multiples at once. Kaveh takes Tighnari's side, and Alhaitham takes Cyno's side. After that again, they had a discussion about flavor. Tighnari and Cyno thought flavored chips were far superior, while Alhaitham and Kaveh reasoned that plain, salted chips were the best. Who knew the two could actually agree on something? And next, their last debate was about dipping. Kaveh, Cyno, and Tighnari think that various sauces enhance the chip's flavor. On the other hand, Alhaitham prefers his chips plain, with no dipping sauce, liking its natural taste. Back to the courtroom, Alhaitham claims that they know the chips are not flavored, from Kaveh. They know the chips were dipped, as in the crime scene, the dip was also stolen. They know the chips were eaten crunchy, from Cyno being able to hear it from outside. Lastly, they know it was eaten fast, so they ate multiple chips at a time. This is from Tighnari, claiming Cyno said 3 jokes every minute, with a total of 15 jokes, so it was around 5 minutes. If they add all of these up, it all points to Kaveh, who stole his own chip bag. It was eaten with crunch, dipped, flavorless, and was eaten multiples at a time. It was actually Alhaitham who was the least likely, if they were to go by this metric. Alhaitham says that Kaveh probably stole his own chip bag, and blamed someone else, so he can get new ones because of it. The other two look on, in confusion. Kaveh says his entire argument was preposterous and insane. Alhaitham is still the culprit in his eyes. He just nitpicked certain things that made him clear, and put the blame on someone else. Kaveh says he may be poor, but he would never stoop down to this level, as they argue again. Cyno and Tighnari take sides, as an entire fight breaks out in the courtroom. Kaveh enters the room again, and gives Kaveh a brand new bag of chips, as a thank you for helping her earlier. Now that's settled, she pleads for everyone to stop fighting, the problem is fixed now. They all stop, and Kaveh apologizes, saying he got too carried away, and thanks Kaveh for everything. The 5 of them end up eating at a restaurant that night, along with others, to reconcile and talk. They had a good time, and as the day was about to end, everyone left, except Kaveh, who packed the leftovers. He then checks his pocket, to finally take out the chips bag, but then suddenly, he notices they are gone. Someone had stolen them. The end. Thank you all so much for watching. Give a like if you ended up enjoying this video, and subscribe to be notified of my future videos. Bye.